Welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me again, guys. Good morning.
Good morning. Football season.
Oh, yeah.
And did you see the concussion?
Are we getting right to it? Yeah.
Yeah, we might as well get into
So,
it.
yeah, let's get to it. So, Tua from the Dolphins suffered what looked like a horrible injury. You know, obviously you see the head hit the ground. Well, 5 days earlier, he possibly was misdiagnosed as a back injury, so we've got some issues there.
Yeah, so looking back at, I'm sure everyone's seen both those videos. I don't, that first hit, that had to have been a concussion.
Yeah.
I understand, you wobble a little bit maybe with a back injury, but I haven't seen any back injuries where people wobbling side to side and grabbing their head. And, I'm a big sports fan, and even if, Tua passed a concussion protocol, just the optics of it.
Yeah.
And, especially coming back and having a short week, coming back from a concussion so early within 4 or 5 days. That's one of the main concerns about a concussion is coming back too early. So there's been numerous studies where if you have a concussion, you have a head injury, it takes far less injury to have a repeat concussion, a worse concussion, if the brain hasn't fully healed or recovered coming back. So one of the main things that we always like to talk about is time. And one of the difficult aspects of concussions is a lot of it's self-reporting, where being honest with your coaches, staff, if you're having headaches, symptoms, just being honest about it. It's not worth the long-term implications of, possibly getting hurt again. And we're starting to see football back in high school games. We're starting to see in the emergency department our high school football injuries. And football's such a great sport, and it's great for young people to play, and just making it safe as possible.
Yeah. And it's a tough sport, and kids are tough, and kids don't always want to admit that they're injured. And I think a line one of my coaches used to use is, "Are you hurt or are you injured?" And hurt's usually the answer. But you look in the NFL. I mean, those doctors are under a huge amount of pressure, both the players, coaches, but they also have to worry about the athlete's safety.
Absolutely, and it's just looking back on it, for even an NFL team, was it really having a quarterback play 5 days later, now he's going to miss at least one game, they've already said, and possibly a couple more games. It probably isn't even wasn't worth it for a game, the third, fourth game of the season. Just having that player maybe sit out an extra week, especially on a short week, giving that player time to heal, I think is very important.
All the sports and news commentators apparently have a medical degree as well.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But they were talking about what he was doing with his fingers, feathering. Is that what they said?
Or a fencing response. Fencing response.
Okay.
Yeah. So what that signals, very, you see, kind of someone posture like that after a head injury, very indicative of a head injury, an injury to the cortex of the brain. And it's kind of like the brainstem response kind of taking over. So highly indicative of a concussion when you see that after some sort of head injury. So, but very scary for even, I was watching that game live, extremely, extremely scary, just even for me as a physician seeing something like that. And, I'm part of like a ER doctors Facebook group, and the first, go on that thing right after, everyone's talking about, everyone's trying to, say what, it's a concussion, and, was talking about the different responses that he was having, and, and of course brought up, the injury 5 days prior, which they had already been talking about that before the game, is like, why is he playing?
Right, yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you talk about the Tom Brady, Giselle impending divorce?
Well, we can talk about how mental health is very important, but not as much on our ER Facebook group about the Tom Brady Giselle drama.
That's funny.
Well, apparently she wanted him to quit.
Apparently.
Has it been have they officially stated?
I don't know.
No. My wife was talking about it yesterday.
Yeah, I think the conclusion that I've come to is she wanted him to quit, and he promised he would. And I think they'll be okay financially.
Yeah,
I
I think she's might even be worth more than
I think
him,
she
I
is.
heard.
Yeah.
There's lots of modeling money.
They'll be fine. Kids
Yeah.
will be messed up.
They'll
Kids
all
will be
good.
the kids will be fine too.
Yep.
So flu shots, we were talking about. Okay, when's a good time to get the flu shot? I'm hearing anytime. Is that right?
Yeah, so I think now's a great time. What happens when you get the flu shot is the idea behind this and a lot of other vaccines, you mount an immune response. And especially with the flu shot, you want kind of that immune response to be at peak time during the flu season. So I think now is a perfect time. You get the shot now, your body will have mounted an immune response. You have those antibodies flowing around your blood for the upcoming flu season. We haven't started seeing the flu yet, but I'm sure it's coming. So
Yeah.
now's the perfect time. The IEP urgent care has flu shots available. All
Awesome.
your local family doctors will have it available. Also, I haven't gotten mine yet, but I'll be getting it pretty soon. Once they come around, walk around the hospital giving me flu
Yeah.
shots. So once they come down, I'm getting it.
That's a great idea. We should have someone walk around here with the flu shots.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
It makes it easier. It's no excuses when
Yeah.
they come down and they're like, "Yep, ready for your flu." Like, yep.
And you can get the flu shot and the newest COVID booster shot at the same
also.
time.
Yep. So
Different arms, maybe.
I think I would recommend both arms, if you had to ask me, because then you only have one arm
one arm
potentially
that's
hurt.
Oh.
sore.
Yeah.
Only one sore. I'm
Yeah,
good.
you don't want to risk both.
Yeah, I always I don't know if there's any. I've never looked this up. Is do you get it in your dominant arm or your non-dominant arm?
I don't know.
Because it's gonna hurt.
Dominant.
The dominant one, because then you work it
Yeah,
off
I think the
faster, is what I've
dominant.
heard.
Oh.
Yeah. But
You're doing it wrong.
I'd always get it in my off arm because I don't use that one as much. It won't bother me when I move it. But yeah, I don't know. That's always a debate I have. Is when I get especially your tetanus booster, because that one's sore
That
for
one-
about
yeah,
a
that
day.
one
It's
aches.
do you get in your dominant arm or your non-dominant arm? And usually I think people say get in your dominant arm and you'll work it
Yeah.
out faster. But
Well, there you
I
have
don't
it.
know.
There, we solved it today.
We doctors say.
Yeah.
The kids obviously had to get their vaccines up to date for school. Kids had to get sports physicals, and you're still doing those.
Yep,
We've got
yep.
more kids starting on the winter sports
Yeah,
season
For
pretty
sure.
soon.
Yep. So the IEP urgent care, if you need the sports physical, come in and get your sports physical done for basketball. And they do volleyball in Michigan in the winter.
They do that in the fall.
Fall.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we've got wrestling,
Yep.
swimming. Yeah.
Wrestling's another big one
Yep.
too. Yep. Yeah. So getting all that stuff done, and think about wrestling and basketball too.
Yeah.
Concussions. People.
Oh, yeah.
People forget about. Yeah. Everyone just assumes it's football, but it really can be any sport. Volleyball,
Soccer.
Soccer's
soccer.
a huge one too.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, concussions, and then especially with soccer, you get a head injury and you're hitting the ball, and if you don't recognize it, it can just continue to aggravate
Yeah.
that injury.
Yeah, it's
So-
tough in soccer, and I guess maybe even hockey, is you have the age disparity of maybe 10-year-olds playing with 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds playing with 14-year-olds. So you're getting
Yep.
mature bodies going against immature bodies, and a lot of times you can see some of those injuries.
Absolutely, but especially in those the smaller high schools where you got one team and
Right.
you got 14-year-olds playing against 18-year-olds in
Yeah.
some cases, and yeah.
Well, it's nice we have doctors and athletic trainers on the sidelines at these games, making sure that, hey,
Yep.
if you need to come out, you need to come out.
Yeah, we have a couple of sports med physicians at Henry Ford Jackson. I know a lot of times they're out at games. Within our emergency medicine residency, through the emergency department, we actually have a couple of residents that are very interested in sports medicine. We kind of have a sports medicine track that they're a part of and participate in a lot of the local high school events, so they're actually on the sidelines. I think that's another great thing that's kind of come out with this increased awareness about concussions is, having people on the sidelines that, can see the injuries as they happen
Right.
and can notice kind of like what was missed with Tua, like this wobbling after an injury and be like, probably something happened there that we should, take this player out and at least further evaluate. That never used to happen.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to have a doctor and not a assistant coach. Come and how you feeling. So yeah, I think and that took a lot of time for coaches to respond to as well. Longtime coaches to understand
For sure.
the changes in the game.
You know it's serious when, especially in the college games, when someone gets hurt, the camera crew finds the kid's mother in the stands,
Oh yeah.
and she's got that terror look on her face.
Well, I mean, of course, you know, that's your kid.
Yep. Yeah.
No, we didn't have that in our high school. We had a janitor and a priest that stood on the sidelines.
Yeah, we had a couple priests that stood on the sideline, so we were good.
Yeah.
Clean them up, bless them, we got them back in the
That's
game.
right. That's right.
Oh, it's always great to have you here. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for having me
Thank you.
again.
Emergency Services Physician at Henry Ford Jackson Hospital and IEP Urgent Care, Dr. Jacob Sinkoff. More of the morning show in just a moment.